When the fires of the tribes grew dim, and the smoke no longer rose above the plains, one man still carried a spark. His name was Akecheta, the Seeker. He had seen the rivers turn to dust, the buffalo vanish from the horizon, and his people scattered like leaves in the storm. But in his dreams, the white buffalo still came. Its eyes glowed like the moon, and it whispered, "The fire is not gone, only hidden." So Akecheta began his journey. He walked alone through the silent plains, where once the laughter of children echoed, now only the wind spoke. He carried no weapon, only a flute carved by his grandfather from the heart of a red cedar tree. Each night, he played beneath the stars, and the earth listened. He believed the spirits could still hear, that somewhere, beyond the veil of time, his ancestors were waiting. One evening, he reached the Mountains of Shadow, a place the elders once called the Land of the Sleeping Giants. The rocks there were carved like faces, ancient, solemn, watching. Akecheta knelt beside a pool of water, his reflection trembling in the ripples. "Great Spirit," he whispered, "show me how to heal the broken circle." And the wind answered, soft at first, then rising, like 1,000 voices of forgotten souls. He closed his eyes, and the vision came. Vision sequence, mystical tone. He saw the old world again, the tribes dancing beneath the northern lights, their drums calling thunder from the sky. He saw the children painting on the stones, telling stories of creation, of wolves and eagles, of the time before time. Then, the light turned red. He saw soldiers, smoke, and fire. He saw the buffalo fall, and rivers run dark. He saw mothers weep, and children carried away on wagons. And then, from the smoke, a figure appeared, a woman in white deerskin, hair braided with feathers of gold. She said, "The earth remembers, even when men forget. But if you wish to heal it, you must find the last fire." When Akecheta awoke, the pool was still. But something burned within him, a purpose, like a flame that refused to die. He looked to the horizon, where the first light of dawn broke through. And he began to walk again, east, toward the rising sun. For the elders had said, when the world loses its way, the sun must be followed, for it is the eye of the Great Spirit. Seen, the valley of lost voices days passed. He crossed rivers and deserts, through lands where no birds sang. At last, he reached a valley shrouded in mist, the valley of lost voices. The air was heavy with memory. He heard whispers, soft cries carried by the wind. Every stone here seemed to speak, every tree held a story. He found carvings on the canyon walls, symbols of the Crow, the Lakota, the Arapaho, all etched in harmony. Once, these tribes had gathered here, in peace, to pray for the earth. But now, only silence remained. Akecheta knelt, placing his hand on the cold stone. He whispered, "I am your son. I have not forgotten you." And in that moment, the wind stopped. Then, a faint glow emerged from the carvings, as if the spirits heard his voice. The valley began to hum, low, deep, like the sound of the drum. It echoed through the mountains. He realized then, the old songs were not gone. They were sleeping, waiting for someone to remember. He lit a small fire, the first in that valley for generations. And as the flames rose, he played his cedar flute. The song he played was older than any word, a melody taught by the wind itself. The fire danced, and in the smoke, he saw shapes, the faces of his ancestors, smiling. "You have found a path," they said. "But your journey is not yet done. The last fire still sleeps in the heart of the mountain." Days passed. The plains faded behind him, and the mountains rose like giants before the sky. The wind howled through narrow passes, carrying whispers of the past. Akecheta's feet were sore, his body weary, but his spirit burned brighter than ever. He climbed cliffs carved by ancient glaciers, the rocks sharp and unforgiving. Snow melted into crystal streams, and the sound of water became his companion. Each night, he slept beneath the stars, wrapped in a blanket of sage smoke. He played his cedar flute, and the melodies carried far, calling the spirits to guide his path. Seeing the spirits of the mountain one night, as the wind rose with unnatural force, he heard voices, soft, yet echoing in every hollow. Akecheta, seeker of the last fire, the journey is not just of the body, but of the heart and the mind. He opened his eyes, and in the darkness, figures emerged, translucent, yet solid, like the memory of the earth itself. They were ancestors, warriors, and storytellers, those who had walked the spirit road before him. They said, "The fire sleeps in the heart of the mountain, guarded by time and by trials. Only the pure of heart can awaken it." Akecheta nodded, understanding that his journey was both literal and spiritual. Seeing the trial of courage the next morning, he reached a narrow canyon, its walls high and unyielding. A single ledge twisted along the cliff, one wrong step would mean death. He placed one foot cautiously, then the next, his breath controlled, his mind empty of fear. As he progressed, the mountain seemed alive, rocks shifted, shadows lengthened, and the wind tested his resolve. Hours passed. The sun fell behind jagged peaks, and still he moved forward. His courage did not falter. At the canyon's end, he found a cave entrance, dark and cold. From within came a faint glow, like embers beneath the earth. This was the heart of the mountain, the home of the last fire. Seeing the vision within, Akecheta stepped inside. The air shimmered with heat and light, yet no flame could be seen. He knelt, closed his eyes, and placed his hands on the stone floor. In his mind, visions came, rivers flowing golden with light, children laughing beneath the sacred trees, buffalo roaming free, grazing in harmony, elders teaching songs of creation to the young, then darkness. He saw his people scattered, their homes destroyed, their songs silenced. And yet, in the darkness, a small flame flickered in his chest. It grew as he breathed, as he remembered the old songs, as he remembered the prayers of his ancestors. The fire was not lost, it had always been within him. Seeing, awakening the last fire, Akecheta rose. He spoke the words of the elders, "Great Spirit, guide me. Let this flame rise, to heal the circle of life and restore what has been lost." From the floor of the cave, a faint glow spread. The stones warmed beneath his hands, and a circle of light emerged, dancing like fire. The last fire had awakened, not as a single flame, but as the spirit of all who had walked the land, woven together in harmony and hope. Akecheta understood then, the journey was not only to find fire, but to carry it back to his people, to awaken hearts, to remember the songs, to restore the spirit road. Seeing, return journey, the fire followed him as he left the cave. The wind carried whispers, telling him that the journey ahead would be just as hard, but necessary. He crossed mountains and rivers again, bringing the last fire to the villages he passed. Every drum he heard, every song he played, rekindled hope in the hearts of his people. And as he traveled, he realized, the fire was never just his. It belonged to the people, to the land, to the earth itself. The last fire was the memory, the spirit, and the courage of all who came before, and all who would follow.